Hi everybody, Dan Ullman, Matt Bernier, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Friday, July the 7th is race number 9 at Prairie Meadows. It's the Grade 3 Iowa Derby for 3-year-olds, traveling a mile and a 16th. Let's take a look at this field. Head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us as we take this field in post position order. The number 1 is Petrov, who turned back last time out. That's what we were waiting for in the Woody Stevens. He ran okay against a what else? A Baffert-trained winner, an American Anthem, and now they're stretching him out again. Can he handle a mile and a 16th?
He probably can, and maybe the class relief alone is what's going to get him over the top in here. I still think he's a one-turn horse. But look, if he's ever going to get the job done, it's going to be in a spot like this.
Should be able to work out a nice trip. He's got tactical speed. And the Woody Stevens, he had to break from the far outside in that field of 11. And I think that cost him position. Ricardo Santana broke well with Petrov, but if he stayed where he was early, he would have been forced 4 or 5 wide throughout. So we had to kind of gather him back, take him to save a little bit of ground. He ended up widest anyway, turning into the stretch. All things considering, I thought it was a good effort. He fits very well from a class standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is one of those situations where, okay, maybe he doesn't want to go this far, but considering the company that he's been keeping and who he's going to be facing here, maybe just it all kind of works together and it ends up happening where he can get through here. I still think his future is going to be going shorter.
Now, we both might like Petrov at slightly shorter distances. Something tells me that Silver Dust will appreciate this 2-turn distance. They tried him at a 1-turn mile last time out off a short layoff, got a little bit of class relief. He ran into a sharp horse that we're going to talk about momentarily. He's been very solid from a buyer standpoint. This is a very well-bred horse, and Randy Morse has always treated him like a good one. He's thrown him into some tough spots. Maybe this is the right spot for Silver Dust.
You also notice, too, that they've been trying to figure out what it's going to take to get everything together to get him through. He's had blinkers on, he's had blinkers off. They've gone 1 turn, they've gone 2 turns, but they have handled him like a good horse from day one. It's still one of those things that I wonder how many times can you go to the well before we need a little bit of a confidence booster. But then again, from a buyer standpoint, he fits right in here perfectly.
The number 3, McCormick, handled Silver Dust last time out going that 1-turn mile. He has won it a mile and an eighth around 2 turns in the past. His last 2 races, very visually impressive. Last time out, not only very visually impressive, but he got a fig.
He got a fig, and I you know what, initially with about an eighth of a mile to go, I'm looking at it going, it's okay. But I like the fact that he extended at the end. He galloped out very, very well. The 89 buyer, highest last out in the field. Interestingly enough, time form U.S. ratings, he is very, very slow on numbers right now. He needs to improve. Fascinating, the whole breeding game. The dam was awesome, and she has been a terrible broodmare. So, you know, you never know what you're going to get, but I think the distances really helped this horse going 2 turns or going routing distances on dirt.
Class relief, to say the least, for the number 4, Impressive Edge for trainer Dale Romans. 2 starts back, Florida Derby against Always Dreaming. He won the Kentucky Derby. Last time out, 3rd against Timeline, who came back to air in the Pegasus with a 99 buyer speed figure. Impressive Edge might get the right setup in here. It appears the pace could be strong.
Yeah, and you know what? This is the kind of horse where he's been in very, very difficult positions, and he's run credibly in all of them. I think he's a really interesting one in here. I have a sneaky feeling he's going to get bet because I think he's the name. And I think people are going to look and see Always Dreaming and see Timeline, and those are 2 of the bigger 3-year-olds that we've got at this stage in the game. And again, on paper, he's going to get a good setup in here. I don't really want him at 3-1 or 4-1.
The number 5, Jared, represents one of the local hopes. He won the local prep, the Prairie Mile, on June the 9th. He's now paired up buyer tops in his last 2 races. I know that's an angle you like, but he needs further improvement. He is bred to go on in distance.
Yeah, I think there's some things to like about this one. The only concern I have is what kind of trip is he going to work out, because it seems like he does his best running when he's on the lead, and there is other speed in here, particularly to his outside. I don't think that plays to his advantage.
Like Impressive Edge, the number 6, Hence, is taking a substantial class drop after competing in the Preakness and the Kentucky Derby. 3 starts back, he won the Sunland Derby with a big sweeping bid off a fast pace. He might get a similar setup here, but Mike Smith hurts the price.
If he wins, I lose. I don't like him. I don't like any of his races. The Sunland Derby, I think, was just kind of a mirage. I don't believe it until he backs it up. You take that out of his page, he deserves to be 10-1 in here. Instead, because of his name and because he ran the Derby and Mike Smith and Steve Asmussen, he's going to get bet. If he wins, I lose.
Let's see what our friends at Timeform US have in store for this race from a pace standpoint. They believe the pace will be fast and that it might be set by the number 7, Ballandine, who is a stretch-out sprinter. His sort of big races have come over synthetic track. He is stakes place on dirt. His best effort is second to McCracken in last year's Street Sense Stakes. I'm just not sure where he is from a form standpoint right now.
I don't think distance is going to be his friend. I think he is better going short, and you've got to assume stretching out from 5.5 to 8.5, he's going to be forward.
Line Judge, the number 8, we see up close to this possible fast pace. He was third to Jared in the Prairie Mile. He began his career with a bang. Maybe he needed that Prairie Mile. It was his first start in about, 7 months?
Sure, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. My biggest concern is you look at his 3 wins thus far, all of them on the lead. If he's going to make the front, they're going to have to use him to get there.
Thirst for Life, the number 9, was very exciting in his first 2 starts last year as an early 2-year-old. All sorts of trouble in his debut against stakes foes in the Kentucky Juvenile, a very visually impressive win in his second lifetime start, and he's now run 5 times since then. He hasn't gotten any faster. Where is he? Were we fooled?
I think so.
I think so, too.
But I will say this is a very, very confident placing from Mark Casse, knowing that this isn't going to be a stellar field, but it's still going to be better than anything he's been facing. They tried him on the turf. I feel like that was nothing more than just kind of tighten the screws up a little bit. But I think we were probably wrong, but who knows? Again, this is a very confident move for a sharp barn.
And it is his second start of the form cycle, and he's coming into this race off 4 stamina-building 5 furlong workouts. He showed something in those first 2 races. He's going to have to put it together, but you're going to get a price on good connections, the 9 Thirst for Life and Mark Casse. Let's take a look at our top selections for this year's Grade 3 Iowa Derby. You're going with McCormick, 9-2 on the morning line for Ian Wilkes. Boy, he's been so impressive in his last 2 races, and I think he trips out in the second flight.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think he works at a really good trip in here, and who knows? We'll find out. Maybe the Timeform US folks are correct. Maybe the buyer is correct, where if it's the buyer, then yeah, he has a major chance in here. Timeform US, he is quite slow. He needs to improve. I just like that ever since they've gone long with him on dirt, he's really looked like a different animal.
I'm going to give Petrov one more chance around 2 turns, and like you, I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe it's a little bit too far, and I'm hoping that he's not part of a fast pace. Either Santana goes and puts that stretch out splinter and the long shot in his place and go right to the front and take no prisoners, or take back and try to sit off. You don't want to go too fast with a horse that might be distance challenged. We see the race pretty much the same way. You're going 3-1-4-2. I'm going 1-3-4-2 in the Grade 3 Iowa Derby. We've got a great new deal for DRF Bets subscribers that want to play the Friday Prairie Meadows card. VIP for a week, drfbets.com/VIP. Start with a $300 bonus for the Iowa Derby. Grade 3, 9:50 Central. Best of luck.